Found an article out of 1945 that's raised a couple of questions in my mind, and I think it's going to raise a couple of questions on the value of a sixth generation fighter being fielded by the United States. The mad scientists at DARPA want to build Mach 5 supersonic bomber. Mach 5 supersonic bomber. Now that is one hell of a deal. Let's check into some of this. Article summary: DARPA is developing a stealthy, hypersonic strike aircraft known as the Next Generation Responsive Strike Platform. Key point 1. Designed to operate in highly contested environments, the NextRS aims to combine Mach 5 speeds with low observability overcoming extreme engineering challenges. The project focuses on high-temperature materials, advanced propulsion systems, thermal management, and hypersonic weapons deployment. Key point number 2. DARPA, working with Air Force Research Laboratories and NASA, hopes to field a prototype by the end of the decade. If successful, NextRS could revolutionize strike missions, offering unprecedented speed, range, survivability in modern warfare. So, DARPA, and we love DARPA here. Lemon Sour Channel loves DARPA. These are our mad scientists always thinking outside the box. When you're thinking outside the box, you're thinking right. You're thinking right. So they want to bring in a Mach 5 or above hypersonic, what they say here, stealth aircraft. I'm not sure the two things can be done together, just simply because hypersonic means you are creating a plasma field that can be seen from any space observation platform using infrared. But we're just going to continue. The announcement goes on to list 6 areas of interest for the Aerospace Projects Office and expands a bit on what they hope these 6 areas will achieve. Structural and materials. Technologies for high-temperature metallic materials and structural concepts that allow design of thermally driven, weight-efficient airframes. High-speed weapon separation. Technologies that allow weapons bays and ejection systems to accommodate hypersonic separation from aircraft and fly out to the target. That right there also tells us something we didn't know. The United States has claimed that they have already flown and tested their 6th generation fighter. What that tells us right now is that that fighter is not hypersonic. Dual mode propulsion, technologies that allow continuous powered operation of a turbine-based combined system TBCC propulsion system over the entire flight envelope. Power generation, technologies that allow power generation sufficient to support a modern avionics and sensor suite during all periods of flight. Finally, thermal management systems, technologies that allow integrated solutions to managing the thermal environment of the aircraft and propulsion system. That's relevant because of where I think things are going. And it's not just me who thinks this. This is clearly DARPA is leaning in this direction too. And we're going to skip now to another article. This also out of 1945. America is betting big on a hypersonic bomber. Now this basically recaps the previous article greatly. But it brings up a point that I think is very relevant to this discussion, and one I think is being answered. This is a artist's rendition of Lockheed Martin's next generation, 6th generation fighter. This article talks about the record-breaking flight of the SR-71 and how the F-22 can't outrun surface-to-air missiles like the S-400. This is the relevant portion. Since the 1970s, the U.S. has emphasized stealth over speed in its strike aircraft. The B-1 and B-2s, as well as the upcoming B-21 Raider, were all designed to minimize their radar cross-section, reducing the distance at which the planes could be detected via radar. All 3 bombers trade speed for stealth, on the notion that it's better to not be detected at all than to rely on speed to avoid being shot down. The Air Force previously bet the farm on stealthy strike aircraft, so it's reasonable to ask, why suddenly have they had a change of heart? In April of 2024, according to Air and Space Forces magazine, the Air Force said it did not want more than 100 B-21 Raider bombers. That is a hell of a statement. They only want 100, so they must have something else in mind, or they would want to pack the skies with them. And just for the record, here is the board agency announcement on sam.gov, and this is the board agency announcement from DARPA. And some of the things that I did find interesting in just the start of it. The initial posting date, February 5th, 2025. Proposal abstract due date, November 30th, 2025. Full proposal, January 30th, 2026. So we're talking about them having an abstract concept drawing and of all systems and all this stuff, and a full proposal 3 months later. 2 months later, 60 days later. A full proposal. So they are hot trying to get this fielded and into the sky. That's for sure. Fortunately, we have a lot of experience in this area. We are not without experience in high-speed, large bomber aircraft. This is the XB-70. The XB-70 was first proposed in 1957. I believe first flown in 1959. The 1950s, folks. The 50s. Check out these stats. Length of 185 feet, wingspan of 105 feet. Wing area, huge. Max takeoff weight, power plant. Here's the stuff we're interested in right here. We have a maximum speed of Mach 3.1, a cruising speed of 2,000 miles an hour with a combat range of 4,287 miles at 77,000 feet. Now it cruised a little lower than 77,000 feet, but it was up there in the stratosphere at Mach 3 in the 1960s. Its test flights took place in the early 1960s. This is a very famous aircraft, and there's a wonderful program. If you're not familiar with it, it's called Wings. It was on the Discovery Channel back in the day. And this is part of why it was able to reach such speeds and height. Now, I can't play it with sound for copyright reasons, but an inglorious solution to a problem came from North American Aviation. The company had refined the concept of compression lifts. Their plan called for mounting 6 enormous jet engines in a tapered shape under the aircraft, thus forcing air away from the center section at high speed. The design also allowed for the air to be trapped by the outer edge of each wing. When it was lowered, the compressed air would act to lift the aircraft and help propel it to 3 times the speed of sound. The design was given the name XB-70, and SAC approved it for development in December of 1957. Almost 70 years ago, we're at 67 years ago, we had already approved a giant aircraft, and this is a giant aircraft, 185 feet long, wingspan of 105 feet, height off the ground 30 feet. This was an enormous aircraft, capable of incredible speeds. I once again cite all the statistics here, and these are all on Wikipedia, which I will, of course, link in here so everyone can take a look at it. But these are some serious numbers. And these are, again, from the 1950s. So imagine what we could do today. Which brings me to the 7th generation fighter. Again, from 1945. Hypersonic shooting lasers in space. Key points in summary: U.S. Air Force develops its next generation 6th generation fighter. Speculation is already mounting about the 7th generation fighter aircraft might look like. Could it feature hypersonic speeds, space flight capabilities, and AI-driven autonomy? Advances in directed energy weapons and missile defense could allow a future stealth jet to track and destroy ICBMs in flight. Space flight, hypersonic. Directed energy weapons. You can see the groundwork being laid by the requests here from DARPA. In this request, and this is the actual request, line by line. High-speed weapon separation technologies that allow weapons bays, and ejection systems to accommodate hypersonic separation from aircraft and fly out to the target. Dual-mode propulsion, power generation, thermal management system, high-speed turbine engines. All of this sounds like something that's getting ready to become a spacecraft. A 7th generation spacecraft. So I guess what I'm wondering, personally, is should the United States just skip the 6th generation aircraft, such as the B-21 and whatever the 6th generation fighter is that they haven't unveiled yet? Use these as technology demonstrators and test platforms, and just move forward into the 7th generation, pinpointing space flight, hypersonic directed energy, and hypersonic weapons as the direction we should go. This would open up an entire world of technologies, including for the civilian market. Being able to have an aircraft take off, let's just say, from London, using the materials, the engines of something like a 7th generation bomber, hypersonic bomber, like what we're talking about here, the mad scientists at DARPA, who we just love. Could this just be the start of the 7th generation of fighters? I think we should. We want to boost technology. We want to get the next step forward. We want to take the next great technological leap. There it is. Is stealth dead? Quantum computing is leading to the probability that it is. Quantum computing combined with AI is probably going to be the decoding of stealth. So is speed stealth once again, as it was back in the 1950s when the Valkyrie was designed. When this was designed, your stealth was speed, your stealth was altitude. Well, now those speeds are hypersonic and that altitude is space. I found this a very interesting article, and I just kind of wanted to bring it to your attention because the technology that it's clearly asking for in the DARPA request is groundbreaking. And it's so groundbreaking that it kind of leaves an entire other groundbreaking technology obsolete and in the dust. I'm not sure you can do stealth and hypersonic. I'm not sure physics allows that. But what do I know? I'm just some old man sitting in a his office yapping on the internet. But I wanted to yap this to you, bring it to your attention. I thought it was pretty cool, and I hope you do too. With that, I appreciate you coming by. If you liked it, make sure to hit a like and a subscribe. And I will catch you next time. Thank you.